So this is something that I haven't really done before on this channel. I want to make a response video to another YouTuber, a YouTuber that, based on what I've seen from him, I respect a lot, and I'm rocking with what he's doing. I click on a lot of videos about Chicago, and sometimes I end up on channels that are not based in Chicago, and they might just be about hip hop or about other issues or whatever. But I was looking up videos about Vaughn, and I saw one particular YouTuber, a guy named Hassan Campbell, who recently was doing a lot of videos about Chicago ever since the death of Epi Duck. And like I said, I haven't seen most of his stuff, just mostly the stuff he's done on the city of Chicago. But I respect where he's coming from a lot on this. One of the things, though, that he had said about Vaughn, about the whole situation with Quando Rondo, was something that I got to respectfully disagree with and give my reasons, because to me this is like important for the youth in Chicago to hear. And this ties into something 600 Breezy was saying the other day. You saw that Breezy said, well, this is why we just shoot. This is why Chicago has this culture of not fighting, and we're just going to shoot, because if we're going to just get shot, why take the chance to throw hands when, we know it's going to be taken there eventually, so why not just take it there from the start, et cetera, et cetera. I'm kind of extrapolating on what he was saying, but he was just basically making a point, like, we're not cowards. Like, this is where we're coming from. You see what happened to him. He was trying to fight, and that's what happened. So Breezy, on the one hand, he's got a point, but on the other hand, Chicago guys do, blatantly encourage shooting first instead of fist fighting. Like, you hear guys in their songs talking about, we ain't trying to fight, like, we're not going to fight. You know what I'm saying? Run up on me, I got my pipe, et cetera, et cetera. So they kind of encourage that just blatantly, you know what I'm saying? Not even like, let's throw hands up, we're both down to do that, but just, no, we're just going to shoot. When I was working in the schools, there was a student of mine that this happened to, and this was right when I was there too. He was shot, in a fight. This was right on the front lawn of Sullivan High School. And the guy who shot him was not a student. He was a gang member from the neighborhood. This set off a war between a couple of the gangs over there. He actually ended up surviving, but he was in a coma for a while. And this was a student that I had a really good relationship with. So it was a very bad experience, man. And it just made me think about this whole issue, because, guys do this too much. This is one of the things that we're trying to change in Chicago, is the culture of shooting up fights. Now, personally, I mean, the best thing is to talk it out like grown men. You know what I'm saying? Like, resolve issues in a mature way. Because fighting can result in death too. I mean, guys get beaten to death all the time. And then again, fighting oftentimes, there's always going to be that one person that's just going to feel some type of way and come back blowing after he lost. You know what I'm saying? No matter, you can get 99 guys on the same page to just be willing to throw hands, but all it takes is one to mess the whole thing up. And that one is always going to be there. This has been going on since the 90s, really. It's not entirely new, but it's getting worse. And, Hassan, he had said that the shooter did what he was supposed to do because of Vaughn's street reputation, that Vaughn supposedly had, quote, I'm quoting now, that he supposedly had 7 murders, and that he was just known as this mass murdering serial killer, and that, based on that, if I was hearing Hassan correctly, and therefore he had to shoot him. So it's questionable at best. First of all, I don't know what Lil Tim's idea of Vaughn's street reputation was. That street reputation is not accurate, that's his rap reputation. That's his internet reputation. I can tell you, and listen, this is coming from somebody who started this whole culture of negativity as far as naming bodies on the internet. I literally started this. I remember the comments on a lot of those videos. People were shocked, you know what I'm saying, that somebody would do this. Now you see it everywhere. So I take full responsibility for starting that negativity. But if you guys remember, so a lot of the street reputations that I've talked about, I named all the guys in all the main gangs. And 7 bodies was not his reputation. Now I can tell you, since he's gotten out, and I'm not going to say too much because I don't want to make the same, I'm trying to change my ways and correct my mistakes. So I'm not going to go back over some of the negative stuff that I've already said. But I'll say this. I'll just give you guys like this hint as far as his street reputation. And this is something that is easy to find out. Okay, for everybody who's saying how you know, I know guys from that area, and all you have to do is talk to guys from that area. So I'm talking about his local reputation. Since Von's been out, I haven't got knowing guys from, you know what I'm saying, like that are involved in that whole gang war down there with O-Block. I have not heard of him doing anything in the streets here since he's been out here in Chicago. So unless he went on some type of killing spree in Atlanta, you know, I'm not saying that Von was, you know, a model citizen, okay? You guys know I've spoken on all this stuff before. So obviously I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is that like the reputation that he got as just a guy who was just out there killing for fun, like a John Wayne Gacy type serial killing murderer, that's not really accurate. I mean, as far as the streets. Now, people always come at me and say, well, you don't know because you weren't with him and all this stuff. That's true. I'm not talking about what he actually did. He might have 1,000 bodies on the low and just be like the most skilled person at keeping it a secret ever. That could be the case. But I'm talking about his street reputation. Again, you don't have to take my word for this. Ask anybody from the area. They'll tell you what his street reputation is. And there's a huge gap right now, a huge difference between his street reputation and his internet reputation. That's what I'm saying. So which one little Tim had in his mind when he shot up that fight, I don't know, but shooting up fights is something everybody in Chicago, man, who has had, you know, friends, anybody that they have known affected by this culture of shooting up fights, this is something we're trying to change. Like, shooting up fights is just straight foul. You know what I'm saying? Like, the thing you do when your friend is in a fight, okay, is you hop in there and you help your friend. You break up the fight if you can. You know what I'm saying? But you hop in there and you defend your friend with your hands. You know what I'm saying? Like, not with a gun. Because when you shoot up the fight with a gun, okay, those O-Block guys, I guess they didn't blow back at that scene. You do that on the streets of Chicago, you start blowing at a fight, man, 9 times out of 10, everybody in that fight is going to whip out pistols and start blowing back at you. Like, that is just the wrong route to go. Here on the streets, I mean, they were at a club, Von was having a party. So I can understand if they weren't in Chicago mode over there, but you do that here and you know what's going to happen most of the time. Like, you're not going to be the only one shooting. And your chances of death have just increased exponentially. If you're trying to defend somebody from getting killed by shooting up a fight, you just made it way more likely he's going to die. You know what I'm saying? Plus, a lot of these guys, you know, I mean, I'm not saying this to diss them, but I mean, let's keep it real, man. A lot of them are going to miss and hit their friend. Or some little kid that's just around there watching, you know what I'm saying? Or a woman or something like that. This is like not something, man, that we want to just encourage at all. So I got to respectfully disagree with Hassan Campbell. And for everybody that's repeating that reputation about Von, listen, guys, you see a pattern of this. When guys become rappers, I remember this vividly when it happened with Glow Gang. As soon as they become a rapper, if they've done anything, I mean anything, like unless they're like a total non-affiliate, just neutron from someplace that nobody ever heard of, that just came around and started claiming the block because he like knew one person on some finesse hustling stuff. Like, unless it's something like that, anybody that's ever done anything in the streets, like as soon as they become a rapper, you will see the level of getting gassed just take off into outer space. I mean, it's really shocking. Like, for people that know their local reputation, for people that are from the area, to see what they become, I mean, in the eyes of guys on the internet. Like, I remember this, the worst case of this that I've ever seen was Fredo. And everybody from the area, okay, from his block, from his area, knows exactly what I'm talking about. Fredo, yeah, he was known as like a real guy, you know what I'm saying? Like a guy who was feeding his people, all that kind of stuff. Man, as soon as he made it in rap, people started talking about this dude like he was like Hitler. Like, this guy killed like 50 people or something. I'm like, bro, you guys are gassing this guy way out of proportion. Like, people buy into the image, you know what I'm saying? And they buy into what somebody looks like physically. That's a big part of it. But you'll see this literally like expand through just comments. You know what I'm saying? Somebody will comment like, oh, he got this number of bodies. And then like the next person will cap a little bit more and, add a couple to it. And then pretty soon before you know, it's like, I mean, when I put out a lot of those videos where I just basically gave what I knew to be the facts based on their street reputation, a lot of people started hating on me. Like, oh man, like a lot of these fans were genuinely disappointed when I said that these dudes weren't killing what they thought that they had been killing. And it's really a shame because drill kind of does that. Like, guys want to believe that these guys are really out there doing everything they're saying in the songs. Some of them are, you know what I'm saying? But a lot of them really, man, like a lot of the ones that just got gassed way out of, I mean, people were doing it with the whole Glow gang. And people are starting to do it with Vine. But 7 bodies, man, no. No. No, 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 no. Now, and to justify shooting him because he was throwing hands and because he had this supposed reputation that, like, oh, he must have been ready to kill the guy, it's just not accurate. You know what I'm saying? There is no reason to believe, if you accurately knew what Von's reputation was, there's no reason to assume that. Just assume that he's fighting. You know what I'm saying? He's just putting the beats on him, and that's it. Now, Von made a horrible decision to do that, okay? But, the youth need to hear this, that, like, shooting up fights is just, it's the weakest, most cowardly thing to do, man. You get in there and you break it up, period. Like, you defend your friend. No matter how many guys are in. I mean, you might have to take a beating, too. A lot of guys have had to take licks. Listen, man. I done been beaten so many times, like, I can't even count. Man, there's times I thought I was gone, out of here. Couldn't breathe, on the ground, had like 3 guys sitting on top of me, pressing my rib cage into the dirt. Like, that culture has changed a lot because now a guy can just grab a pistol and, now all of a sudden they're Rambo. This is somebody that, can't beat his sister in arm wrestling. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is just a bogus culture, man. The best thing is talking it out like men, like grown men, with brains, you know what I'm saying, with intelligence, with IQs, mature, you know what I'm saying. That's what leads to a solid community that, where businesses can thrive and where people can get along and work together and make money and feed their families. Fighting is bad, but it's not as bad, okay? Then you get into the levels of negativity. You go from fighting and then you go to shooting. We're trying to keep it to a minimum. That's my point. So, respect to Hassan Campbell, but again, with that point, I respectfully disagree, and I think the youth just need to hear, like, the right point. And this is youth of all races, because this is going on with all races. You know what I'm saying, in Chicago. It's not going on that much with whites, but it goes on now and then with us. And even one life is too much. You know what I'm saying? So it pertains to everybody, really. It's your boy, When You See the Report, I'm out.